What's that word? What's that word, family? Hey, man, check it out, check it out, check it out, check it out. Is to the streets, is to the mother effing streets. It's your homeboy, Low from the Go. I'm back with another episode of Fast and Furious interviews. On the show today, ladies and gentlemen, I got a very special guest. Now, I'm going to need y'all to stay in tune because this guy right here, my homeboy, Big Vito, he about to send this bitch up, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Big Vito, why don't you tell the people who you are and where you from?
What's going on, folks? What's going on, yo? This is Big Vito. Shit, I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. Originally from New Jersey, Sanford Street. 18, stand up, nigga. Always South Trenton, North Trenton, West Trenton, East, all the way to the section, Dolly Homes, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I always rep like that. Also, South Carolina, Mullins, Marion and shit. Those my folks down there. North Carolina, Raleigh, Charlotte. Also my folks, Memphis. Major love for Memphis. Lived out there in Memphis for years. Shout out to all the niggas out there, Atlanta too. Like all my folks and family out there. Shout out to all the good artists out there. My nigga Duke, aka RTJ, my nigga Dasco, Yo Ali. It's a lot of talented motherfuckers. Mac Tree, like young Sunny Boy, like all type of niggas out here, real talented and shit. Like I fuck with a lot of up and coming artists, whether their platforms is much bigger than mine or like still trying to, get their shit up because clearly mine is, still low for like. Shout out to everybody, man. I fuck with y'all, all the people. Appreciate you for having me, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Low from the Go. I appreciate you for having me. Reaching out and shit, seeing my stuff. As far as new music coming, this is how we met, Street Dreams. It's a track I got coming from the Legends Only series where I'm doing tracks on all legendary beats. Not necessarily the artist, but legendary beats and shit. So I'm doing verses and bars, all legendary beats. Street Dreams is the first one to kick off the series. Fuck with it right now. It's on YouTube. You can catch me, Big Vito, on YouTube. 6dog_Vito, 6DAWG_Vito on IG and on Twitter. Shit, Big Vito on Facebook and on IG. You can catch me out there, you know what I'm saying? And come fuck with me, man. Tune in what I got going on. There's a lot of cool shit coming. A lot of good shit, man. I'm excited this year for it.
My homeboy Big Vito, man, he came across my ears that be laid to the streets, man. They laid to the fucking asphalt, and not only the asphalt, they laid to the concrete. So the first question that I gotta ask you was, how rough was it for a Big Vito growing up?
Shit, growing up, man, I think like, even coming up as a kid, like it don't seem as rough anytime you growing up until you get older, I guess, and like or you move and you see like how shit really is in different places and you like, damn, like it was wild, So I feel like it was definitely tough. Shit was definitely rough, but like, man, we had a lot of great times too growing up. Like, I'm not just gonna get up here and tell you this fucking sad hood story and shit. Like, clearly there's a lot of memories when you grew up in that type of environment, a lot of crazy shit going on. But like, it was a lot of good things that happened too, so, but coming up, man, the shit was just, it was kind of like at a disadvantage starting out. My pops going to prison, before I was born. He went to prison for manslaughter, bumped down from murder to manslaughter. He was fighting two bodies on two different cases. And luckily one of them ain't have enough evidence, but this one right here, he pretty much caught red-handed. Whoever he did with, what he did with, they was all young, man. He was 16 when this shit happened. So like, they was all young. And he got caught up, got 18, so I think starting right away, my mom moved back to Jersey when she was pregnant with me. And that's where I was born. She got with my sister pops, he's cool ass nigga too, you know what I'm saying? But he was, drug kingpin in the area, you know what I'm saying? So if you listen to Street Dreams, the song I got out now, I'm really telling a story about when we was in Jersey and shit. And, my mom and him was together and, feds raided our crib and all that shit. And kind of the story of what transpired during the raid and what happened. Like, but everything in Street Dreams is 100% facts. You get what I'm saying? So like, but the shit was, it definitely was rough. But man, I had my cousins, had my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was always deep. Now, keep in mind, we wasn't really raised by adults per se. It was like us raising each other for the most part. So like, a lot of bad project kid shit. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, like a lot of stuff like that. Being very active at a young age as far as like, fucking, like, the chicks, like, you very young when that shit happened, Whether we started hustling, if 9, like, and I'm talking about cars, CeeLo, dice games. Clearly, you playing basketball for money before niggas kind of get into other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you sell candy, you sell whatever. You feel me? Like, I sold Lucy's, I sold some other shit that was a little, a little harder, but like briefly. So it's like you get into everything when you down there, you hustle. But I think everybody get into that. You know what I'm saying? Like so many people. It's not even like no hard tough shit. I just think like you're just trying to get your money. Like, my grandma, when she ain't had money, I go up there and I came back to visit after I moved to North Carolina. I ain't had no money. Even before that, like I ain't had no money when I was still up there. Yo, cigarettes, you got these Lucy's, sell them shits, and whatever you make is that's how you eat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
that's
right,
how I
right,
went.
right. Right. I used to hustle as a youngster, so I know exactly what you're talking about. But let's go back a little bit on
Right.
what you just said. Your father was locked up for a couple of murders at 16?
Yeah, so like, I ain't even gonna pin the second one on it for real. Like, it was some old shit. Like, it was they didn't have enough to pin it on. Basically, it was a fight, group fight. Basically, I guess somebody ended up getting stomped out to death, and they just trying to blame it on Pops. But there wasn't enough evidence to say no shit like that. But this one right here was just a robbery gone wrong type shit. You know what I'm saying? And evidence was on him, so it was like it was a dub pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, he was going down. So, when my mom was maybe 2-3 months pregnant with me, they came to the trailer they was living in. This was in South Carolina. The cops came. Pops already knew they was coming and shit. Like, the shit, like, my mom tell it, man, it felt like some shit out of the movie, really, like, because she was like, the cops came, they knocked on the door, they sitting at the table, him, with the cards or whatever the fuck, playing or some shit like that. They come to the door like, hey, we looking for such and such. And like, he take his last shot. He was like, I already know. He took his last shot and then he just left with him. And it's like, this shit feel like it's in a movie for real. But, after that, we moved to Jersey, but yeah, Pops was down. He got 18 and he ended up doing 11. Got good behavior because it was a manslaughter charge on what he got. Like, yeah, I ain't want to get too much into the details of that.
Did your pops do it?
Yeah, he did it. He did it. But he admitted to that. You know what I'm saying? He admitted to doing it. He took his time for it. He'd tell me he did it, like, he regret that. He regret that decision that he did because he was the only one, disrespected his other homies at that time, but like he was the only one that had like the heart in his group to like say fuck it, like I'm about to go here and try to hit this lick, do whatever. And like it just went wrong, shit went bad. I really do, and condolences to that man's family. That's why I don't even try to like make it sound like it was something, because that's how Pops feel too. He understand like how that family feel about him or whatever, and if they never forgive him, like he totally get it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's some goofy young shit that happened. Like, he wish he could take it back, but can't take back every mistake you make. Consequences for shit. So,
how did that affect your mental health?
I think I saw that shit way more as I grew up and got older because as the time went on, like, early in my life, I didn't really pay as much attention to it because me and Pops, like, even though he's been gone, I'm 30, he's been locked up 28 years of my life, but he's never been a deadbeat to me ever. Like, back in the day when he first got locked up, we would have popcorn night, movie nights and shit in the jail, like in the prison, like every week it'd be shit like that. So we got a lot of pictures from back in the day where it was like that. Him, me, my Uncle Al, R.I.P. to my aunt. Like it'll be all type of shit that we had, pictures, memories that we had, and I never felt like he was a deadbeat. I just always was like, damn, I want Pops to get out. So I think living in it, sometimes you don't understand the impact it have on you as much. And having a step Pops at a certain age when I grew up, even though he wasn't, I feel like I made myself, I turned myself into a man for real. But like he was like my big brother. He was still a role model. He's always my dog. You get what I'm saying? But like not having Pops there, as the older I got, it was just kind of like, damn, I got a daughter now, and I can't imagine not being in her life. And the fact that Pops says you got 3 kids, like, I'm the oldest, and when he got out of prison for that couple years, he had two more. You know what I'm saying? So like, um, then he went back in this last time. So his max date is 25. He got 20 years on his last case, but like, um, it's just, I feel like the shit is you see it as you go along in your life, man. I think that's really where it plays out, man. The psychological damages, the psychological bearings it has. Like even in me trying to understand fatherhood, try to be a better dad for my daughter than I had growing up. And I knew my pops wanted to be there for me, but it's just that you made a mistake, man, and unfortunately you couldn't take that shit back. You had to pay for that, you know. But he always made sure he reached out. Like my nigga, me and him talk all the time. That's like one of my best friends. Like that's my nigga. Like I never had any animosity to him. I wrote him a letter 15 years ago, probably like maybe over 15 years ago, probably 16, 17 years ago. And I just let him know, like, dog, I said, Pops, yo, I ain't mad at you for nothing. I said, yo, your mistakes, the shit you did ain't me. They don't define me. That ain't me. Like, and my mom made sure she told me that shit all the time. Like, growing up when I really like, people always say shit like, a teacher, teacher always told me I wasn't gonna be shit back in the day. It's like, motherfucker, ain't nobody tell you that shit. Like, it be a lot of motherfuckers say shit like that, and it's like, I had motherfuckers really be like, yo, he bad as hell. He gonna go to jail just like his dad. You know what I'm saying? And that's those facts. You get what I'm saying? It's just like, when you hear shit like that, I think sometimes it's kind of like you don't really look at it that moment, like that deep. Like in the moment, you don't look at it, think about it that deep. But it's like, damn, that's real fucked up to say to a kid. You know what I'm saying? Like psychological impact, shit like that can have. That's a fucked up thing to say. But also the type of behavior that we promoting in this environment, for me to even be in this situation, you like, yo, he badass kid. We laughing at him. It's funny. Everything funny. Like it's like, well, shit. My mom didn't think that shit was funny, so she did some correcting and trying to get me together, and that shit worked, And I think that's what it was. But with Pops, he always been my dog, 100%. Like that's my nigga forever. Him and my mom, they always been tight. I think it was better for them to always be friends because of how they are. Like they cool as fuck. They always tight. Like it is what it is. But as far as the impact, again, I think all of that shit just shows more as you grow and you get older, as you have your own family and you see the shit that you didn't have, the things that you was lacking, the things that you learning as you get older that you wish you could have learned 10 years ago. If you'd just had a man or a father figure in your life to tell you like, yo, this is the way to go. Because there's a lot of shit that we get hung up on at a young age that a man with wisdom could tell you, like that ain't, you gonna go through the shit you is because you got youth on your side, you young, you gonna go through your fair share of shit, but like these things right here, you don't have to go through because this is the outcome of that. So when you go through a situation and I told you how it's gonna end and end like that, you can believe me. Like I know I've been through it, so it wasn't no like I've been through it type motherfuckers in my life, like it was me figuring out shit on my own for real, and no disrespect, like I love all the niggas in my family, but like that wasn't our relationship. Like they give you good game when you're around. We got family reunions, we kicking it every now and again. They give you, it's great game, but I'm not around them on a consistent basis. You feel me? Like to make that shit sustainable, whereas in my head every day, So I think that shit is definitely tough. It has an impact on that as you grow up. Like I feel like you go through a lot of different feelings, a lot of different emotions that you don't understand quite yet. Like anxiety was something that was major for me that I didn't even understand that shit until like 5 years ago, but I had it since I was like 12, 13, you feel me? Like long ass time. Now, depression, grief, all of that shit too, with death in the family, all type of stuff like that. So, I think expressing yourself as a man, like it's many ways you can go, but I feel like with having a more positive like male role models in your life, father figures, friends, like whatever, it's just like that's the way to go, man. Like I prefer that shit. Like if we could totally avoid the single parent shit, that is the best thing ever. Like I feel like both parents need to be, but here's my thing. Before I say that, I feel like both two healthy parents, keyword healthy, in a healthy relationship, like, or have a healthy relationship with each other, even if it's co-parenting, they should take care of their kids. If you got a motherfucker who's abusive, that's a detriment to that kid. Get rid of, like, they don't need to be in that kid's life. That's gonna be a detriment to them, to be honest. Like, but if you got motherfuckers who want to be there, who not deadbeats, who actually love spending time with their kid, you should never try to punish them with taking time away from their kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why I feel like it's always important to make sure you know who you have family with, who you have kids with. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's great to have great co-parenting relationships. If shit don't work out with you and your shorty or whatever, it's great to have that. But I feel like, all of that shit is important. Having a father figure, having those male role models, so I could lean back on when I'm talking to my kids. Yo, your granddad told me this, and this is what's going on. So even now, pops give me advice, and it's a saying right now that my daughter, if I tell my daughter, like, yo, what Papa, she call him Papa G. Like, what Papa G what Papa G always tell you, and he'll, if you be good, you get whatever you want. Like, she's 7 now, but he's been saying that shit since she was like 2. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's like little shit like that. It's things that I really enjoy, like phrases when they talking on the phone, like, Pops is in prison, but like, there's ways to always do shit. So like, whenever they get to talk on the phone or video chat, like, I love to see how she interact with them. Like, her, my child's mother, they all love my dad. Like, my dad love them. They're my girls, for life. But like, I feel like it makes me more upset as I get older, because it's like, I just wish that he was out here, because the type of impact he has behind bars, I'm like, yo, if he physically here, like, that shit it's gonna go up. Me and him are the same type of people. So like, if anybody who fuck with me and I feel like I'm infectious to them as far as like my personality, like, that's Pops. You know what I'm saying? Like, he the same type of way. So he got the same type of connections. He make, honestly, my a lot of times when me and my baby moms together, a lot of times they closer with the moms, but for the first couple years, her and my dad were way closer than her and my mom was. You get what I'm saying? Like, her and my mom's is tight now, like, they tight. You know what I'm saying? But her and my dad's have been tight from day one. You get what I'm saying? Like, they've been always click tight from day one. So like, it's just that's the type of nigga he is. And so I feel like without having him there, it's just more about, I just want him to be here now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a granddaughter out here, you got 3 kids out here, my 2 siblings, one of them just graduated high school and she's trying to work right now, making sure she get her money and get her shit together so hopefully she can go to college. My little brother, high school, out here, honors classes, he's fucking doing great, he's killing it and shit, you know what I'm saying? So, it's like, yo, you got all the kids out here doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? Me clearly leading the charge here, I already went through schooling, but it's like, I feel like I'm the example, but it's like, we need you, we still need you. Like, your job ain't done. Like, I know you've been gone for a long time, but like, you can't make up lost time, but your job now it's different. Like, I don't need you to be here for the same shit I needed you for at 8 years old, but I'm 30, We need you to be here for different reasons. Maybe I need you more for my daughter, or maybe I need you still for my mental. Like, I feel like that's the same shit with my pops. Like, I need them, come out here. I want to see you be out here, because you seeing everybody die and shit while you in jail is crazy. Having to see your mom die, and you get out, your brother die, your grandma die, your uncle die. All these motherfuckers keep dying around you, and you can't do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? Because you locked up.
All right, so you said that your father was locked up as a juvenile, right? So
yeah.
So how did you have siblings? You know what I'm saying? Like, your father must have been the man out there, right? Like, 16 years old, you got siblings locked up. You said he was locked up for 18 years, right?
So he got 18. He was locked up for 11 on the first case. He was out for 2-3 years. Then he went back for 20. You get what I'm saying? So like, that's why he only been out for he only been out for like 2 years, 2-3 years of my life. But he been in for about 27, 28 years in the last 30. You get what I'm saying? So he got 11 for good behavior. He got out. As soon as he got out, like it felt like the first week or 2 out of this bitch, he got my sister's mom pregnant, and I'm like, like soon as he got out. You feel me? So he's like that. And then a little bit later, he got my brother's mom pregnant. They was together for a long time.
Wait, 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 wait.
So
you saying that you got a sister that's like 11 years younger than you?
Yeah, she about 10, 11. Yeah, she's 18, 19. Yep, 11 years younger. 18, 19. That's my dog though. We tight. Like, she just graduated high school this year.
How did that make you feel? Your father gets out of jail, and instead of coming home to your mom's, he has a baby.
Oh, that was perfect. Here's the cool, like the great thing. Him and my mom, I don't think they was ever meant to be together. I think they was meant to be friends and to have me. Like, I'm gonna be honest, and that's no cocky or arrogant shit. But like, when I look at their relationship, the characters they are, it's always a great fucking time. But like, if they was together, they would. It's like water and oil. You get what I'm saying? So, literally, the funniest shit. My mom, she might get mad at me. I don't know if she get mad at me for telling this whole story in front of everybody, but like, I'll tell it anyway. So like, the way they even got together was that my mom didn't like his ex or his girl that he was with or some shit like that, right? My mom had like beat her up before or something, and then I think she beat her up twice. I don't know if she beat her up 2 times. I know she beat her up once at least, and she didn't like her. And so like, let my mom tell the story. She like, yo, she was like a year, some change older than my pop. So like, and she was like, she always would date the nigga. She would date the drug dealers. I'm gonna be honest. She'd date all the hustlers and the ballers, the drug dealers, all them niggas. She always dated them niggas. So like, a lot of guys would try to be getting at her, and my mom was like very selective. So with my pops, it was like she knew that he wanted to get at her, and she was kind of ignoring him until she found out that his ex, like, or his girl, was like this chick that she hated. So literally, she just kind of was like, "Fuck it, I'm about to take her man," type shit. You get what I'm saying? So like, that's what happened. She ended up taking this nigga, like, and voila, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? But like, they whole thing started just from her being like, "I'm gonna take her man," and they were together for, they weren't together for that long. I think a couple months, really, for the most part. But like, it was a lot of silly shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of goofy shit. My mom she wasn't, she's sanctified now in the church, but like, she was a problem back in the day. It'd be a lot of goofy shit. When she was pregnant with me, what she did? She was pregnant with me. She was just upset with, like, my pops was in there playing cards with his homies. She was just upset that he wasn't spending enough time with her, and like, my mom was a fool with the blades, my nigga, like, for real. So she just walked over, sliced him across the chest with a blade, like, like, just because he wasn't paying enough attention to her. You feel what I'm saying? So like, but that shit, that was wild. So I don't think they was meant to be together. I'm just be honest.
All right, so looking back, I can see that you had a toxic relationship going on in your life, with as far as your mom and your pops, right? And I'm looking at your background, and I see family together. What the fuck is that, man? Are you trying to be a different man than your father? Even trying to have a different woman as your mom?
It's funny. Like, the best way I put it, this is how I put it right here. Like, I feel like with my pops, that's the first time somebody asked me that question. But like, I feel like I'm not trying to not be like him. I'm just him. I'm what he would be if he didn't do the mistakes he did at a young age. You get what I'm saying? Like, now keep in mind, like, a lot of shit y'all don't know, like, his mom, my grandma, she was a bank robber back in the day. She went to jail for bank robbing in the 80s. She was a drug dealer. She went to jail and prison for drug dealing. Like, she died in prison.
Your grandmother died in prison. Tell us about your grandmother.
You'll hear the story of her a little bit more on Voices, but like, I never got to meet her. She died in 94, and I never got to meet her because she was in prison. She went to prison in 91, the year I was born. So her dying wish on her deathbed was like to meet me, and she never got to meet me. I didn't get to her in time. But she ended up getting 10 years in like the 80s for bank robbery. She did before they had like the 85% or 85% mandatory minimums. Like when that shit was like 30% still. She got 10 years, ended up doing 3 on that. And then in the 90s, late 80s, 90s, she ended up catching a drug bid. But I didn't know how long she got. I knew it was a good bit, like a good while. So she was always, unfortunately, my grandma was, she was addicted to drugs. She was an addict in a lot of ways, and she ended up catching HIV from sharing needles. She was a heroin addict, and she ended up catching HIV from sharing needles. And while she was in prison, just turned from HIV to AIDS. You know what I'm saying? So she wasn't able to get the proper care, so she ended up dying from that. In '94. But that's his whole upbringing.
How old was your grandmother when she died?
She was in her 40s, but I'm trying to figure out exactly. She was in her 40s when she ended up passing, I believe.
She wasn't even old enough to be a grandmother when she died.
Yeah, I know, right? Shit is crazy, ain't it? Like, that's crazy, but like, she had 3 kids by the time she died.
I can see having 3 kids by 40, but I can't see dying.
Right. Honestly, like, again, I feel like it's the same shit with Pops. Like, for the most part, like, I never met my grandma, but like, the older I get, the more I'm just like, damn, I really wish I'd got a chance to meet her. I really wish I got a chance to like know more about her in person, get her stories, like, because when I talk to Pops, it's so crazy. Like, my dad is like, he's not even 50 yet, right? And he's like the OG when it comes to like the stories. Like, the old head you go in your family for the stories about the family history and shit. It's like, how the fuck is you not 50 and you the one I gotta come to for stories? So a lot of my dad's side is like, a lot of them stories die with a lot of those people who ended up passing away. They don't. It's not a lot of shit not passed down. You feel what I'm saying? But like, I feel like not knowing about my lineage more when it comes to certain shit, not knowing about, hearing Pop stories, but I really wanted to hear from Grandma, like, yo, like, how was your life like? Like, what led you to this? Like, how did you get here? Like, what would you, I would love to ask her those questions, and like, I would love to see what type of, I would love to hear her voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, see what type of personality she was. You get what I'm saying? Like, do I get my personality from my grandma? Because me and my pops is just alike when it comes to personality, even though we haven't like been together physically for the vast majority of my life. But like, personality wise, me and my, like, we very, very similar, and we look alike. So I'm like, damn, did we get that from grandma though? Like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that shit right there, it has more of an impact now that, of course, I got a daughter, and it's like, damn, I would love for her to know another grandma too. I feel like I only got, let me see, I never met my granddad. So my pop's dad, I never met him. He alive somewhere in Jersey. I never met him though. And dad, I don't think he met him either. So like, it's like my whole dad's side, the grandparents, everybody gone. My grandma, my great grandma, who actually raised my dad, she died a couple years ago. So like, all the grandparents on my dad's side gone. My grandma died. I don't know the dude who was my granddad. I don't know who he is. I only know his name because my dad is the second, or you know what I'm saying. So like, or third, but that's it. So I feel like the impact that shit had really be, it's like, once you start discovering yourself and you start realizing who you is, when you start realizing the shit that affects you, what makes you tick, I think those things just become way more important. Like, that's how I feel. Like, that shit really become way more important. Like, really understanding who she is, like, understanding how she lived the life she lived. When I'm like, yo, she was a fucking bank robber? Like, what? How the fuck you get into that? Like, I understand the drug dealing shit, I get that, but like, bank robbery? Like, what are we doing? Like, what happened? Like, but Pops always say, yo, she's a wild child, but like, every time she came home, she was my heart. Like, we loved her when she came home, but she was a wild child. That's what Pops would say. Like, she'd come home and she'd be gone for, a couple years, maybe, like, and that's how the shit be. Couple months, couple years. She gone. She off to the next whatever she doing. You know what I'm saying? Them drugs take you a lot of places. So you know that's where, and I feel like that shit is. It kind of break my heart sometimes when I think about it, because it's like, of her 3 kids, all 3 of her kids have been either in jail or dead. You know what I'm saying? Like my Uncle Al is dead. And my pop's been in prison. And now her youngest son, he in prison. So it's like all type of shit. Like it, but you see that. You gotta stop that. I look at my dad, I look at me and my siblings, and it's like it's 3 of us too. Everybody trying to trend in a different direction than our lineage. You get what I'm saying? Like that's really what we're trying to do. But they all went to prison, they all doing their other shit. Like, some of them ain't get to make it to see this day, but it's like we not trying to go that same route. You feel me? We trying to elevate and do better for us, and we trying to do better for our family. But like it ain't nothing like having your folks here. You get what I'm saying? Like having pops here, having my grandma here, having my uncle and them here. Ain't nothing like having your people here. You get what I'm saying? Everything else is just memories or just wishing. So I feel like something I'ma always miss out on forever is like never hearing my grandma voice, never talking to her, never knowing how she was. Like just all I gotta do, all I know is some stories, like this is how she was and this shit is crazy and this what happened and like wow,